The storm hit the village without warning. Winds howled like wounded animals, tearing across the shoreline and hurling waves against the cliffs. Elias watched from his small cottage window, jaw tight. He had survived many storms in his decades as a fisherman, but this one felt different, wild, unnatural, almost angry. Lightning cracked the sky, illuminating the shore for a heartbeat. And in that flash, Elias saw something, a shape, a body. He didn't think, he only moved. Pulling on boots and a soaked coat, Elias ran into the storm, stumbling across slippery rocks until he reached the water's edge. The tide glowed, an eerie, shimmering silver blue he'd never seen before. And lying where the waves met the sand was a girl no older than 16. She was breathing, barely. Her hair spread like seaweed around her head, streaked with iridescent blue. When Elias lifted her, her skin shimmered in shifting scales beneath the surface, faint but unmistakable. "Easy now," he murmured, though she was unconscious. "You're safe." He carried her back to the cottage. Inside, the storm's roar softened. He laid her near the fire, covering her with blankets. Her pulse was oddly slow, like the gentle push and pull of a calm tide. A drop of seawater slid from her hair and fell to the floor. When it touched the wood, the spot glowed faintly before fading. Elias stared, his breath caught in his throat. "This isn't possible," he whispered. But even as he said it, the girl's eyes opened, eyes the color of the ocean at dawn. She looked at him, confused, fearful, then whispered a single word in a voice like distant waves. "Help." And the storm outside grew louder as if answering her call. By morning, the storm had passed, but the girl's presence had already unsettled the quiet village. Strange currents swirled offshore. Birds flew inland in frantic patterns. Nets came up empty or tangled with glowing seaweed. Elias gave the girl warm broth. She sat by the fire, wrapped in his old wool coat. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated, then said, "Lyria." Her voice trembled like she wasn't used to speaking. "How did you end up in the storm?" She looked down at her hands. Tiny scales glimmered along her wrists before fading into smooth skin. "I was taken by those who fear what I am. I escaped, but the sea is angry, out of balance. It sent the storm to find me." Her eyes lifted to his, full of ancient sadness. "And it will send worse." Elias swallowed hard. He heard the old myths, stories of the ocean's daughters, beings born of tide and moonlight, protectors of the deep. Legends, he always believed. But Lyria was no legend. "What do they want with you?" he asked. She touched her heart. "I hold a fragment of the ocean's voice. It keeps the sea calm. Without it, storms grow wild." Tears filled her eyes. "If I don't return it, the sea will rise." Outside, thunder rolled, though no storm clouds were in sight. That night, a soft humming echoed across the shore. Elias and Lyria stepped outside. The ocean glowed again, silver blue, shifting in spirals. From the surface rose dark shapes, too large, too quiet, not human. "Sea hunters," Lyria whispered, pale. "They've found me." The shapes approached, moving through the water with unnatural grace. Elias grabbed his lantern, his heart pounding. "Inside," he said. "No," Lyria said firmly. "I must go back. If they take me, all is lost. But if I reach the deep gate, the balance can be restored. You can't go alone." She looked up at him. "I don't want to." Something inside Elias cracked, the same part of him that had once held hope before the sea took his wife years ago. He nodded slowly. "Then I'll take you." Elias's old fishing boat creaked as they pushed it into the water, moonlight shimmering across the hull. The glowing tide lit their path as they sailed toward the open sea, where the water darkened into an impossibly deep blue. Behind them, the sea hunters slipped from the shadows, tall, slender creatures with pale, slick skin and eyes like jetstones. They spoke in clicking, watery tones that chilled Elias's blood. "They want the voice," Lyria murmured. "They believe it makes them powerful. And if they get it, the sea will drown the land." Waves rose higher as if the sea itself wrestled with its own strength. The boat pitched violently. Lyria reached out, touching the water with her fingertips. The ocean calmed around her touch, forming a narrow path of stillness. Elias stared. "You really are—" "Yes," she said softly. "I am the sea's daughter." They reached a whirlpool glowing faintly, the deep gate. "Take my hand," Lyria said. Elias grasped it. She stepped into the water and didn't sink. Instead, the sea opened beneath her feet, forming a spiraling descent of light. But the hunters were closing in. One leapt landing claw hands onto the boat. Elias swung an oar, cracking it across the creature's shoulder. It hissed, lunging again. "Elias!" Lyria cried. He stumbled, then felt cold fingers grip his ankle. Before the creature could drag him under, a wave rose like a wall and slammed into the hunter, hurling it back into the sea. Lyria's eyes glowed with fierce, oceanic light. "Hurry," she said. Elias followed her down the path of water and light until they reached the heart of the gate, an underwater cavern glowing with floating spheres of mist and tide. The water around Lyria pulsed as if greeting her. She touched her chest. A soft orb of shimmering blue rose from her, drifting into the water. The entire cavern brightened. Waves outside calmed. The wind softened. The ocean sighed as though relieved. "It is done," Lyria whispered. Elias nodded, breath shaking with awe. A current wrapped around Lyria like gentle arms. "I must stay now. The sea has chosen me as its guardian." Elias felt a pang. "Will I see you again?" She smiled, a smile like sunlight on water. "Whenever the tide glows silver blue, I'll be near." The current pulled her back into the depths, her silhouette fading. Elias surfaced alone as dawn broke. The sea was calm, peaceful, balanced. And as he sailed home, the tide glowed softly along the horizon, silver blue, shimmering like a promise.